Sweet home Alabama. Digga, 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 digga.
Doo, doo.
You're gonna catch this fade. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Still a chance.
hey now. Let's get smooth with it.
Even when there's no one sitting there. But our chair is still a chair. And a fade is still a fade.
Oh, my stars.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beef Wine and Shenanigans. Once again, back is the incredible Denise Tapscott,
Hello,
Mark
everyone.
Abbott, and Kirk Johnson.
Yo.
I am Stephen Van Patten. Hey, how you doing?
Yay.
Listen, oh my God, what a week has it been?
Woo.
Mother scratchers. Jesus. Where to begin? Let's do some positive shit first.
Yay.
Why don't we do that?
Right.
So we never really talked about our conclusion feelings on Secret Invasion.
Oh, yeah.
And that literally just hit me. I know so before I hit record, we were talking about a whole bunch of other shit. I never said anything about Secret Invasion. So now the three blank faces you see right now, that's my fault.
Secret Invasion.
Exactly. Oh shit! Don't tell me you didn't watch Secret Invasion, Kirk. Jeez, maybe you didn't. I don't know.
Simple question to ask, and you'll know the answer to this. Is there black people in it?
Well, come on.
No.
Well, come
Secret
on.
Invasion?
Because
No, hold on. He asked if I saw it.
Are there black people in it?
There's about 5 of them in there.
5 or 6 or
At
7.
least
Yeah.
5 or
Then
6 or
you
7.
damn right I saw it.
Hey,
You damn right I
I was
saw
like,
it.
With the ultimate brother to brother scene. Come on, man.
Right.
Man,
right.
you got, come on. Yeah, so
But see, that's what's irritating about that, because he was a fucking scroll.
Right.
He's a fucking scroll. That's not.
Oh,
But you gotta admit, even as a scroll, he knew how to act.
Oh no! This is definitely. I don't know.
He didn't come in there trying to be weak. He was like,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Scrolls are galactic brothers.
Clearly,
they was mad. Yeah. They got used, abused, and you know what I mean? Nah, we're good.
like when they recruited that particular scroll, when they recruited the Skrull for James Rhodey, they probably sat him down and they were literally like, okay, so how many episodes of Power have you watched? Or something along those lines, because my man was about all the smoke.
Yeah.
He was about all the fucking smoke.
Yeah, he was.
And the fact that he's talking to Nick Fury and it's like, let's be honest, disrespectful.
Exactly.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely, yeah.
oh,
yeah.
Disrespect. Like I have never, and I've been in television for a number of decades. And I've never had another black person talk to me that way. That shit is bananas. Like, what? Oh my God. But
all that attitude, yeah.
But yet and still, overall, I will say it's getting killed by critics, but I wouldn't necessarily kill it. It had its problems. It a lot of this Marvel shit right now, because now I feel like we're starting to slip into the phase where Marvel may not know what the fuck they're doing. Because Marvel is now in the situation where they have run through all of their decades old tried and true shit. And now they've gone into source material that, to be frank, people our age probably weren't really catching up with, because by this time, people our age have run out of space in their mom's basement.
Right.
On some of us,
Mhm.
like Mark, have started families. You know,
Right.
there's
Right.
other shit in play in people's lives.
Yeah.
I had, and side note, but it's kind of related. I had a conversation with our dear friend Julian DeArmas,
Yes.
and he was pissed over how Adam Warlock was handled in the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But he's true to that particular part of the mythos. That's kind of like when I got worked up over fucking how Tim Burton fucked up Barnabas Collins.
Oof.
Yeah. Right.
Oof. Oof.
You know, Julian, apparently a friend, apparently a fan of original source material Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the rest of us, we watched that movie. We were so wrapped up in Rocket's backstory and getting fucking tissues and popcorn napkins so we can wipe our tears away.
Right.
We were all so worked up in that. We didn't give a fuck about Adam Warlock. Okay.
Right.
You know, it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Until, I was talking to Julian.
Mhm.
But oh my God. I'm just looking at how Marvel is slowly starting to run out of how to handle stuff. And part of that, I think, is also because of the actual output. You know, the Eternals, which frankly, technically I could have done without the Eternals. I certainly don't need to watch it again.
Right.
But you still, but if you're if you call yourself really paying attention, then you end up watching the Eternals because of the connective tissue that's going to lead to other things. And of course the fact that Blade is apparently, like, you don't see him, but apparently you hear him. Shout out to Mahershala Ali for getting whatever the fuck he got paid to do, literally just to say one sentence.
All right. Good for him.
With no FaceTime.
No FaceTime. And but also shout out to Kit Harington. Because he's playing simple, unassuming boyfriend at the beginning of the movie. Meanwhile, this is Jon Snow, folks. This is Jon Snow. Did you really think this wasn't some sort of foreshadowing?
Yeah.
If nothing else, you got to think about what you got to pay Kit Harington for him to be in your movie in the first place.
That's right.
Yeah.
Unless you friends with his mama.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway,
right.
Friends with his mama.
Unless you're besties, yeah.
But even friends with his mama, you still got to come up with something. At least some damn good craft services. The point is, Marvel is they started with their starting five, and now they are deep into the bench, and motherfuckers have retired. And just to make the sports analogy there, it's crazy to think that there's like it's going to go as flawlessly as the previous stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, of course, you've got DC, and you look at DC and you look at what's happening with them right now. And
please don't.
No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it's going to upset people. But here it is. Imagine you're a basketball coach. And you have Michael Jordan in his prime. Magic Johnson in his prime. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his prime. Let's throw in Lisa Leslie in her prime. You've got these people in their prime.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, I'm drawing the analogy in the simple fact that DC, you have Batman, you have Superman, you have Wonder Woman, you have Aquaman, The Flash, several Green Lanterns.
Yes.
And technically several Flashes.
Yes.
And you still can't win.
No.
Oh.
No.
What is that?
Oof.
Like, seriously, what is that? You have all that God could possibly give you.
Yeah.
These characters are so much older than the Marvel characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
They are.
Like, isn't Superman like on
Superman's,
his 75th year or something along those lines?
Dang.
Yeah.
Batman, excuse me, I was on a Batman panel last week, and I got reminded because I was talking about the movies and the cartoon and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
This old timer, I'm sorry to say I don't remember his name, but this old timer hopped on and he started talking about shit that was happening in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, that's right.
Ooh.
And he was just dropping shit. Like, yeah, it used to be this, it used to be that, he used to have a gun, he used to have this, he used to have that.
Mhm.
Costume was all fucked up, right?
Wow.
And I was just like, Sifu, show me the way. I was like, okay, yeah, you got me there. You know.
Wow.
But yeah, DC.
You know what?
I don't know.
I because we often have these conversations about it. I will honestly tell you this. I don't know what DC fans want. Marvel fans, I mean, for lack of a better term, I mean, we had some great Marvel stuff. We've had some misses. You know, even in the misses, you don't hear Marvel fans losing their shit like DC fans. It's almost like, and I'll say this: the DC movies aren't awful. Like I've seen some awful. Flash Gordon. That's awful. Good movie for fun Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's awful. You get the Justice League. People, I mean, literally, people crapped on the Justice League before the movie before somebody said action. They were crapping over it. Awful cast, awful this, awful director, awful this.
This is so true.
So then you get the Josh Whedon one. Then we get the Zack Snyder one, which is 4 hours long and much more of a depth of story and everything else. We get to see a lot more. Still not happy. And they did this and this and basically, Zack Snyder is an awful director. Okay. What more? I even heard people. The original Superman. Now, if you talk to people that are our age now, back then, it was an awful movie. That Superman movie was awful, and they made him spin around and turn the world. It's all. Well, what do y'all want?
Right, I love that movie.
How much more? How much? Well, when we saw it, we were children.
Yeah.
And it was a great film.
It was a great film. It's still good.
And the thing is, I mean, I don't ever know what they want, because every single time they give you an iteration of somebody, it seems like either the DC fans are mad with the cast, they're mad with the director, but I never hear anybody going, you know what, I went and I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. You know, I mean, before The Flash even came out, we were already, I'm not going to see that because of Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ, if that's exactly what we're hinging our bets on with this, because you're mad with what the actor is doing beyond the film. I mean, we got y'all been screaming for years to get Michael Keaton back in the uniform. Michael Keaton comes back, and it's just like, I don't know why they brought him back. I'm like, you know what? But Marvel fans will sit through stuff like the Eternals and be like, now that's 2.5 hours of my life I'm not going to get back. Ooh, Look, we got a new Marvel series coming on Disney. Disney you don't even have time to be mad.
Right.
I also tend to feel like those reviews, it's almost like people get caught up in disliking something for the sake of disliking something.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if you're one of those people who had issue with how Jonathan Majors was treated by the studios, only to then see Ezra Miller, and so the funny thing about Ezra Miller was, I thought Ezra Miller was getting in trouble because, he was just being a rock and roll look baby. He was like tearing up hotel rooms like Motley Crue or some shit. And he was doing whatever. And then I finally went down the rabbit hole and realized that Ezra Miller's really doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And meanwhile, all these people turn their backs on Jonathan Majors on what I will now classify as alleged shit.
Yeah.
Which of which turned out to be a nothing burger.
Yeah, the lady accusing him, she fled the country.
Yes. And how about that?
Yeah.
How about that? So, all right, you've got Jonathan Majors on one end. And by the way, shout out to whoever manages Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Because the way it was brought down to me was, regardless of if they use him or not, he still gets 25 mil.
Oh, good.
So
that makes me happy.
You could sit around, use your AI, use whatever bullshit or whatever, and cut him out of whatever. But you still need to pay the brother.
He's still getting paid.
And he's basically still straight for the rest of his life.
Nice. Good.
In fact, I just while I was away, I saw a preview for a movie about Salvador Dali.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller's in the film.
Oh,
of course he is.
No.
And I'm not talking like Ben Kingsley, and like this is like a major, like I'm like, how many movies did you do before you got in trouble?
Right.
But I mean, he's tucked away in there. Like you know. I mean, I still say this: DC needs to do two things: stick with the animated stuff. They're doing good. The animated stuff by far is really great. And here's the thing: the Marvel stuff hasn't really. The Marvel stuff, animated wise,
no, not so hot.
Well, but you know what's interesting about that? When they dropped that animated series in the 90s on Saturday mornings, and we were waking up losing our minds because that was the actual first time we actually got an X-Men kind of series.
Yeah.
And even the stuff they did with the multiverse, the animated stuff. They did.
That was good.
But I think the thing is that what DC can accomplish visually they can probably only do either in animation or on the small screen. And I think that what they should have done was go the way of the X-Files. For example, if you were going to do The Flash, you should have got the kid that was doing The Flash from the WB to do the movie, and bring those characters. And I think maybe that should be the thing that they start doing, which is just taking the people who have already made them famous on television, because they seem to be liked by most of them.
And bringing the TV fan base, bring the TV fan base, as opposed to people who are already soured by the idea of Ezra Miller. You bring in then the real fan base, which is the TV series.
Right. Because I think what Marvel did wonderfully, they put a lot of A-list people in these movies, and they were able to bring not only the fans of the comics, but also fans of these actors and actresses who,
for television
who are doing these movies. The problem with, I think, the DC stuff is that we're just hinging on getting famous people to be in the movie, and we just think that people would just naturally gravitate. But I think their fan base is a little more, shame on you than.
All right. I wonder if also part of it is that, you start off with people who are really into the comics and the lore. Because before then we didn't really hear, because I remember Aquaman, the dude who did Aquaman, he was already into that. Zack Snyder, not so much.
Right.
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the first guy, the person who did the I want to say C-list at the time, Iron Man. Like you were saying, Mark, you put in a well-known actor. You put in an actor who's pretty much, for lack of a better term, a legacy for Generation X. Right? Because we kind of grew up with
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Right? We grew up with him. And then
good times and bad.
Right. And then it wasn't even like, the studios were like, yeah, let's do this. It was more like that one guy, that one fan of Marvel and Iron Man to direct and spearhead it. Not Iger either. I can't remember his name.
It was Jon Favreau, who is now knocking Star Wars out the box.
Right. And then because he has a love for the lore, for the love for the original source material.
And how he didn't end up being James Gunn is actually beyond me.
Right. And but I mean
because if we're going to be 100%, yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were great, but James Gunn, and I mean, he needed to come public and say that Farscape was his inspiration.
Oh yeah,
right. yeah.
And because I did a Farscape panel a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? This is just baseline thievery. This isn't even inspired by. Because for Guardians of the Galaxy, you damn near have every prototype, every archetype character transferred one way or the other. And then after that, what else do you need? Witty banter.
Yeah.
And heart.
And no doubt. Absolutely.
There's a lot of heart in that. Guardian.
There is a lot of heart.
Yeah.
But then you look at The Flash. And yes, I went ahead, despite my misgivings, despite how I was feeling with the whole Jonathan Majors being treated versus Ezra Miller being treated. I sat through it. And basically all I saw in that movie was a WB movie with a bigger budget.
Wow.
Okay.
That's basically what I saw. Like, that could have easily been some Arrowverse WB shit or CW. I thought I keep calling them WB, but it's actually CW now.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
So the Camp Black.
Basically, yeah. Basically,
just people getting checks in the mail.
People getting checks in the mail. I mean, and it also felt, because here it is again, DC playing catch up. So now you've got the storyline for what, to Mark's point, is one of the better DC animated things, Flashpoint Paradox.
The Flashpoint, yeah.
Flashpoint Paradox. If you have not seen that, and you have just one nerd chromosome in your body, you need to see Flashpoint Paradox. It is all the feels, it is all the drama, and the Flash movie borrows from that animated movie immensely. However, overall execution, because it's two different things, you've got Michael Keaton running around. it's a whole other thing. And so then that's the other thing. So in Flashpoint Paradox, not to spoil it for anybody, but one of the things that's different in Flashpoint Paradox is Bruce Wayne as a child in Crime Alley. He dies with his mom. And Thomas Wayne becomes Batman.
Oh, wow.
But Thomas Wayne becomes alcoholic with a gun Batman.
Oh.
Yeah, that Batman.
Oh,
and
wow.
If you even consider yourself remotely a Batman fan, you need to see this. It's bananas.
Like, we're
absolutely bananas.
I gotta see this.
It's on. I think it's on.
It should be on
Max.
HBO Max.
It should be on Max,
as it's now been called, because they're restructuring their corporate.
I mean,
shit.
even the CW did a Flashpoint episode. They did a crossover over several.
They did a
lot
of
shows.
And see, that's the thing. DC is always playing catch up. Marvel has already pulled the full on. Yeah, we're gonna time travel and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, which was how you resolved Endgame with a bunch of parallel universe shit. And then they offshot that into Loki.
Yeah.
They took that and springboarded into Loki and all these different versions of Kang and all this other stuff. DC still playing catch up with Marvel. So now they're doing their version of multiverse, this, and that, but they are not executing it as well as the source material or even, and all right, so again, we get back to the CW stuff, and some of that CW stuff looks cartoonish.
Yeah.
Which is why when I'm watching The Flash, I'm like, oh, okay. Same kind of story, same level of storytelling, which is bad. That's not a compliment. Same level of storytelling, just better special effects.
No.
And that's what happens with The Flash.
What do you guys think of the upcoming Blue Beetle then?
I want to see it just because it's a Spanish kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm already there just because of that.
Just because of that. Yeah.
It should be interesting. I think it looks good.
And not to mention the fact when the studios were talking about, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z, it's like, yo, we're on strike.
Right.
So I'm with Boricua all the way on that one. I am with him all the way on that. Fuck that.
I think
I don't even know if he's Puerto Rican. I'm sorry. He could be Mexican.
I think he's Mexican American. You know what he also could be? It could be that see, with Marvel, we're gonna give you the origin story once and keep it moving.
Right.
DC, we gotta keep reminding you how this person became who they became.
Dude, if I see another string of pearls falling into a dark
between Batman's parents, Superman falling to Earth, the Green Lantern, it becomes this sort of like, wait a minute. We need to remind you of this, and it's sort of like, let's keep the ball going. Let's keep it, and I think that because of that, and I think maybe they feel like people who are not diehard fans of DC have to be reminded of this 1,001 times.
God.
Yeah.
But I do have to say this. Marvel has always been very soap opera-ish.
True.
Melodramatic.
No. Marvel think they slick. That's why they stopped getting my money. See, Marvel Comics would get to a certain point and then drop a series where you got to buy 16 different books.
Oh my God, yeah.
To follow along what the hell is going on. And then it comes all the way back to this one title. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then you can coast with that one title. And then because again, there was a moment in time where I was like, I did not know the difference between the Uncanny X-Men or the X-Men, the Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Who was the other Spider-Man? There was another Spider-Man.
There was Spectacular
Spider-Man.
Spectacular
Spider-Man.
right.
You know, and then it once we got through all of that, Miles Morales. Then
right.
One of my favorite Marvel did this thing where they came out with this group called Generation X. Which was one of my favorite, which was a new crop of mutants who joined Professor Xavier's school. Somewhere in the middle of following this series, because they came from another storyline called the Phalanx Covenant, which I did not realize was multiple books. So I had to go back and buy all of these different books to find out who they were. And then right in the middle of this, Legion decides I'm gonna kill Professor Xavier. And then it broke off. The entire Marvel universe gets coasted over in ice. And then all of a sudden we had Weapon X, Excalibur, Gen X. Then it was like the White Witch and somebody else. They had 9 different titles that you had to follow based on what Legion did. And at one point, I got to the point where I ran out of money. I finally had to ask somebody. I was like, well, there was a character. There was a character in one of the stories called the Sugar Man. What happened to him? And somebody was like, oh, the Sugar Man. He's in another series. I'm like, you see, this is ridiculous. I can't do this. Y'all can't
Mark, don't feel completely bamboozled because I was big on all the supernatural titles. Big surprise. And at one point, they joined everybody up together in this thing where it's like you literally had to chase down chapter 1, chapter 2. But the way they did it, it's like first you needed this one episode of Ghost Rider. It's one issue of Ghost Rider. Then you needed this issue of Blade. Then you needed this issue of Darkhold. Then you needed this issue of, and it just went on and on and on. And there were like multiple Ghost Rider versions. There was Vengeance. There was Doctor Strange. It was like, if you did not follow all of this shit, and not all of them were great. So some of the stuff kind of meandered, but then there was this crossover shit, but you're still chasing these books down. And after a while, it's like, when is this ending? Because to Mark's point, you're starting to run out of money. And it's like, what are you guys doing to me? What? And I get it. It's also akin to something they used to do back in the day when Wolverine was hands down the most popular Marvel character of all time. And so what would happen is Wolverine, there would be a random month where Wolverine is in 9 crossovers.
Oh gosh.
What they call those? They call those like,
you remember this, Mark.
Yeah.
You remember
Oh,
this.
yeah, because I bought
all over the place. Everywhere. He's with the Avengers. He runs into Spider-Man at the airport. And Peter doesn't know that's Wolverine, but Wolverine is like, oh, that's Spider-Man. You know, and it's like stuff like that, just going just on and on and on, and you're sitting there, and then the next book you pick up, he's in hell with fighting Mephisto with Ghost Rider and the Punisher. And it's gosh. And it's like, yo, how can he be in all these places all at once? And nobody ever said anything like, you know, how they cloned Tyrone. They talk about how they cloned Wolverine, like you didn't understand it, like you were just buying shit. Trying to make sense of your comic book reading life.
And you know what they used to do also? It used to be like a one and done. So God forbid you didn't pick that up when it came out. Because I could see me and Steven as teenagers, and Steven go, man, that was crazy how Wolverine had to fight Magneto with the Punisher. Wait, what issue was that? Oh, that just came out like last week. I was like, wait, when did he fight the Punisher? Because he's still fighting Hellblazer. Wait, Hellblazer's in this? You didn't see the like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, him and Gambit. Wait, why is Gambit with Hellblazer? I don't know. You tell me what he's doing with him. I was like, the last time I saw him, Gambit was fighting with Conan. Wait, Conan? Well, you know,
exactly.
Conan,
What?
Conan ran in.
That's a nigga from a different time altogether.
He
ran from a different time altogether. What are you talking about?
It's like Conan was fighting somebody and fell through a portal that Doctor Strange opened. And somehow he ended up in the middle of Manhattan wilding out.
Wait, hold on. Doctor Strange is in this?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
The $2.99 crossover.
Right. I had one experience with that I can remember is that Hercules and the Chaos Wars. And I remember reading it, and it's recent too. It's like on a couple of years back that I was like going through Amazon going, okay, Chaos War. So I'm getting all the Hercules, the Incredible Hercules Chaos War by Greg Pak.
Right.
Didn't realize that there are like 6 other crossover characters because the Chaos Wars is such a big event. Like this thing is fucking destroying the entire planet. So there's a Thor crossover. There's 2 Thor issues. There's a Hulk issue. There's an Avengers issue. There's an X-Men issue. So they brought it. He wrote it so that you had to bring all the motherfuckers in from Marvel Universe to play this. Spider-Man had to deal with the Chaos King, the whole shebang. And I'm reading, I'm like, and when I finally got to the last end of the book of the comic, the Chaos King wins anyway. So I'm thinking like this. I'm like this. I ain't buying all those other fucking issues to see them niggas lose anyway.
Right.
And of course, the hero that wins the day that saves everybody is Hercules. So I might as well just buy his shit. I don't care what the fuck Hulk had to go through. But Hulk family and the Chaos King, I don't care.
But you know what's messed up about that? Is that so? Let's say you bought all the Hercules issues, right? But so wait, in number 5,
I know where he's going.
A character pops up with a story. Yeah, I just finished killing so and so, and you're like, wait, what? Right. He did. What issue was this? So now you think you're going crazy because now you go back and start reading all the other ones. You're like, they don't even mention this cat in this.
No.
And then you come to find out and there's always a rare issue. One that you will never find. That you will have to go to a Comic-Con and empty out your bank account just to get it. Because it was that one issue that nobody knew. It was like when Captain America got shot.
Right. Civil War.
It was post-Civil War, though.
It was post-Civil War, yeah.
And a sniper's bullet got him.
Yep.
And the only reason why I knew about this because I happened to open the newspaper and they were talking about how this issue, they didn't even allude to it. The issue dropped.
Yeah,
and then next thing you know, you couldn't find the damn thing anywhere.
Oh, no.
I had to pre-order and the guy was like, well, it's not going to be a first edition printing. I was like, I don't care at this point. I just want to read the story and find out what happened to him,
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. Not going down that rabbit hole. All right. So
I remember I had to find out why is the Falcon the new Captain America? Shit, Captain America got shot. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Captain America is actually a Hydra agent and he's back to life. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
Talk about the soap opera.
When you're putting out but I guess when you have to come up with something every month, there's the struggle to just come up with something.
Yeah.
But going back to my earlier thing, we're starting to see Marvel. I think we're starting to see Marvel unravel a little bit. I think we're starting to see, because what's going to end up happening, we're not going to have, I'd say, there will still be moments of brilliance.
Yeah.
There'll still be your Wakanda Forever. There will still be Captain America Winter Soldier. There will still be WandaVision.
Yeah.
Loki.
And Loki looks promising. Continues to look promising.
Yeah.
And the first season was great. But like I said, they're in uncharted waters. They're pulling up the bench players now. And I've always, and ever since it happened, I've always said, if 10 years ago you told me I was going to be sitting around on a Christmas watching a series about Hawkeye and enjoying it, I would have told you to kiss my entire ass. So but they pulled that off.
They did. They really did.
Because that Hawkeye series was dope. The young lady that played the sidekick, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is it all going to be like that? They are in a much harder position. The only problem is even with them kind of handicapped by leaning into the bench, like this would be the time right now if DC wasn't as discombobulated as they are right now with the whole, the Rock wanted to be Black Adam, but now he's going to like complain about shit to the studio, and we're just gonna cut that off at the knees. And Henry Cavill, who, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect as fucking Superman.
Perfect.
We're gonna fire him because he looked at somebody's secretary funny. I still don't even know the story behind that.
I don't even know. He
weird.
can look at me all he wants.
That was weird.
And then there's that. And you know what? And I'm gonna say this: Ben Affleck is fine as Batman.
He's all right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's been blessed with the best fight choreography.
Yeah.
Hands down. He's been blessed, because Krav Maga and Christian Bale, that didn't visually translate as well. Especially when the scene is dark and all this and that, whatever. And Robert Pattinson's movie, while I enjoyed the plot, and I even and I gave him the benefit of doubt, I was okay, because again, it was young Batman. So, there's going to be a couple of tripping off the roof as opposed to landing elegantly. And I get all of that. But for not for nothing, the cinematography overall for that one, it's just like if I'm going to watch it at home, I'm going to have to remember to keep the settings on so I can adjust the freaking, the luminance back and forth so I can actually see what the fuck is going on. And that's kind of my whole take on that. But again, this is the time where DC, if they had their shit together and they had Martian Manhunter do something other than show up like a Mary Kay Cosmetics lady at the end of the fucking movie talking about, hey, you need some soap.
I like what you did with that fight there. But, next time,
if they had set themselves up better, they could. And not for nothing. All right, so the Zack Snyder thing, ups and downs, especially with the Martian Manhunter thing. I think Kirk was the one that originally pointed all that shit out. But, just the point that you could have built off that.
Yeah.
You could have built off that. That would have been fine. All right, fine. You don't have to cut Zack Snyder a giant ass check so he could go buy a small village in Africa or whatever he would have done with the money. But still, you had you had salvageable things. I feel like, and I've seen this with certain television networks I've worked for over the past and everything else like that. I feel like there's a lot of throwing out babies with bathwater happening at DC. I think that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
And
except for Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
that one.
Exactly. The most toxic baby that gets to say. Finster.
Right.
Yeah.
Finster. Babyface Finster. He gets to say. Everybody else.
Right.
Bye. Makes no sense whatever. And Gal Gadot, and another one, Gal Gadot. Why would you get rid of Gal Gadot?
Right.
I don't know.
It's like they get really like they get really like hurt and scared that like the movies don't do well, so they cut everybody.
Right.
Like Gal Gadot's second Wonder Woman didn't do as well as the first.
Hey, write a better script.
Right.
Write a better script.
And that's the thing. That's what
all
Marvel
that was.
Does. That's what Marvel would do. But like they'd still come out at like Wonder Woman 3.
Yeah.
And have and redeem themselves.
Right.
Right. Because like they did with Thor.
Exactly. All those Thor movies are not great.
Right.
But that
the
third
first
one
is the first one is way better than you would have imagined because you're going with I feel like with Thor you go in with low expectations.
Yeah.
No,
I did.
So.
I did.
No.
I only saw the first movie because Kenneth Branagh directed it. I was just curious to see what he would do with that. I was like, Kenneth Branagh.
Right.
Okay, I want to see this.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. But you I feel with Thor, you went with high hopes for the first one, and for a lot of people, not myself, but for a lot of people, it hit the mark. And then the second movie comes out, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck am I watching?
Right.
And then Thor Ragnarok is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we don't talk about
this. Well, exactly.
that's like
we don't talk about Bruno. We
don't talk about Bruno.
I have yet to see Iron Man 3, which is why I sat in all utter confusion at the end of Infinity War, the second Infinity Endgame, and I was like, "Who the devil's that kid standing at the funeral?" And somebody was like, "That's the kid from Iron Man 3." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You didn't watch it, did you? No.
And to be fair,
you should just watch it for Ben Kingsley. You should just watch it for Ben Kingsley as the man.
I
know.
It
yes
me
and
so bad.
no. Look.
No, not you. I knew you, Steven. I'm like Mark, but I know for you, that was such a moment of like, fuck you.
Well, that's how I felt too. I was like, really? Really? Boo.
Real Mandarin fans are probably as mad as Julian is about Adam Warlock.
But and to say that,
me.
and to say and I understand. But I think part of it is the Mandarin already was created on already a stereotypical racist idea of the Asian. He's Fu Manchu pretty much for Marvel. He's Marvel's Fu Manchu.
Right.
Yeah.
So but they can make adjustments.
The thing is, I didn't mind the adjustments they made because the other adjustment they could have made is actually give more nuance to the Asian villain.
Or they could have had Tilda Swinton play him too. That's another.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
Hold on.
Ouch.
Yes. Thank you, Steven. Yes. I took. And that, you know what? And I would have been as mad as you are about the Mandarin if Tilda Swinton played Tilda. I would have been throwing shit on the wall. I'm like, those sons of bitches. They did it again. Right, and then they have Chang Li come out.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, Chang-Chi, and they're like this. Really, young niggas could have done this shit already or from jump. You had an Asian villain that you actually worked on nuance and being like something else other than stereotype, but you couldn't do that shit with the other two movies.
But to be fair, they also had to wait for Aquafina to be available.
Ouch.
Right.
So
Shit, this shit got half the cast from the Warriors.
I actually love Aquafina. I'm not even.
I like
that wasn't really shade. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right, so we kept it positive.
Yeah.
We kept it positive, but we do need to get into this other Abbott.
No relation.
No relation. Let's make that plain now. No relation to this Abbott. But Greg Abbott needs a fucking manslaughter charge.
Oof.
Yeah, he does.
For those of you that don't know, Greg Abbott has been throwing. Well, first of all, we got to talk to the immigrants that can get past some of his border shit, which includes these buoys with razor, like some James Bond shit that cuts people and kills people in the water.
It's buzzsaws. He put buzzsaws in the middle of the balls, in the middle of the floating balls. There are buzzsaws.
Yeah, and people have died over that.
Wow.
Yeah,
people have died over that.
Incredibly sinister shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's James Bond villain shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so fucked up. So now on top of that, because of course he likes to keep his racist base invigorated, I guess. So he's still doing the thing where he's taking buses full of immigrants and he's sending them to blue states. So now we can all argue amongst ourselves where these people land. And I gotta admit,
while Texas is like fucking free range.
Yeah.
Like Texas is made of golf courses that nobody touches. He's literally only like so many places that people populate. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I think we're up to 9 buses here in Los Angeles.
But so this one bus gets sent to Chicago, and I gotta admit, the only good thing about this story is that the bus didn't come to New York, because then, of course, Mark's favorite mayor would have had to deal with this in some kind of way. And that probably would have brought us even more into the emotional despair that we are in right now with having Eric Adams as mayor. Side note, I've been on the low. I've been kind of hearing, I'm not going to classify it as gossip, because, if I were actually drop the person's name or the people's names, I'd actually be able to prove this shit. People that work for Eric Adams are in a really bad place.
Oh no.
Oh, they are. And you know what? And that's all I'm going to say on it for now. But I have heard stories about people just wishing they had never, quote unquote, taken the job, so to speak, of dealing with him, because he's a mess. But it's a good thing. So it's a good thing this particular scandal has nothing to do with him. This bus went to Chicago, and a 3-year-old died on this bus.
Oh no.
Greg Abbott, manslaughter.
Yeah.
I'm saying it now.
Yeah.
Greg Abbott deserves a manslaughter charge. I don't care where you sit on immigration. You don't kill a 3-year-old.
No.
Sorry. That's heinous. Fucking heinous.
Wow.
But that's Greg Abbott for you, Texas. Texas, do better.
For real.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I just, and just to slightly jump off of something here in New York, because we're dealing with the whole Roosevelt Hotel situation. This is what I don't understand. You've got all these people coming to these sanctuary cities. New York has a hotel that closed because of COVID, shut down.
Okay.
They decided, let's put the people in there.
Right.
Okay.
Now, call me crazy.
It's crazy.
Kirk would say I was being too hopeful. Let's just say.
All right.
Okay.
But it would stand to reason.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you? Because we've all been in New York hotels. The lobby area has several different stores, right?
Yep.
Little like shops.
Yes, sir.
Why is there no one setting up shop in these empty places to help people get naturalization papers, working papers?
Oh.
If they're in the hotel, it would say, you keep saying, the government keeps saying, well, there's nothing we can do. How about this? Whatever department, INS, I don't know which one it is. There's 8 or 9 of those stores down there. Set up an office with 2 people in them each. The oldest group of people in the building, bring them downstairs, get them 30, 60-day papers so that they can work. Get them working papers. There's a ton of construction sites nearby need some work. Here you go. Let's begin your naturalization process through the proper channels. We got the office here. We work it out. In 60 days, you and your family can begin to move out so we can bring in another family. Instead, this jackass decide, wait, guess what? We're going to ask regular New Yorkers to house some of these people. If you have room in your house, we will give you a stipend for $100 or so that you can house people. How about we start with your house?
Right.
Yes.
How about we start? You know what this reminds me of? That scene in High Plains Drifter when he blows up the hotel. And the priest comes out and he goes, these are people of God. You can't just throw them out into the street. And Clint Eastwood goes, well, why don't we set them up in your house? And he turns around and goes, ladies and gentlemen, the people of this town will take you in and it will cost you no more than regular rates.
I remember that.
Oh no, we're not putting them in the church. You gonna sit there and because everybody gonna make some money off of this. But I don't understand.
Started on the church
from a government standpoint. If you keep saying we can't figure out how to do, you got an entire hotel full of people that you can start there and have government officials go in there and sit there and start not for the people walking through the door, the people who are already staying there. You can even go upstairs to their room. 100 agents could go up there and sit down with a translator, work it out, get all of that done, come on out, process the paperwork, get it done. People become naturalized citizens. And guess what? The Greg Abbotts of this world will look like a bunch of, because you know what I would do? I would give you your working papers and send you back down to Texas so that you can work. So all of a sudden now, all these people you sent my way, they're coming back to your state to actually work, and you're going to have to pay them a living wage. How's that? But who am I?
I'll tell you who you is.
And the thing is, they get to stay.
All right. I tell you who you is. You're the second host for Abbott against Abbott.
That can I just tell you how awesome that would be?
That would be yes. It'd be the drama, the fights. It'd be like Skip Bayless. It'd be like Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless.
What would be
read him every episode?
What would be my campaign slogan if I was to run up against him? I ain't that guy. I ain't that Abbott.
I'm not the stupid Abbott.
I'm the Abbott you hoped you had.
That's right.
Right.
Yes. Oh my.
I'm the Abbott whose brother does not have stake in a ball cell company.
Get rid of the bad Abbott.
Right. Let the right one in.
Let the right one in. I like that was good. Yes.
Yes. For the win. Yeah, so basically a big beef, wine, and shenanigans. Fuck you to Greg Abbott. And we're pretty much out of time, but I did also want to very quickly just kind of point out that we are actually getting closer to Trump possibly going to jail.
Ooh.
Like shit is starting to materialize in the right way. And it's like I almost feel like how they must have felt on the field in 1863, and they're like, well, Lincoln gonna free us. It maybe,
right,
possibly,
but I'm keeping hope alive. Yes, Mark, exactly. Twisting toes and fingers, every goddamn. It's like, and
head in the water.
Exactly. Exactly. Because at the end of the day, folks, we have to cling on to some hope. We have to look at this as, okay, we fell asleep at the wheel. Because we did. Let's be honest. I think we got lulled into a feeling of false security when all these TV networks had all these black TV shows on, and we were all home feeling good about ourselves and watching Queen Latifah and Kim Coles laugh it up, and we got ourselves and not understanding that all the networks were really doing was building up their credentials on our backs, much like the country itself did during slavery. TV networks built themselves up on us with black shows.
Yeah.
And now you're pretty hard pressed to find a living single.
Yeah.
To find a Family Matters. They build shit on us and then take their shit elsewhere when they are good and ready.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point that out, because here we are now in a situation where actors are on strike, writers are on strike, creativity is under attack. And if nothing else, because look, here's the thing, the way things are going right now with all this AI shit and whatever, you know what? We're basically battling Skynet at this point.
Yeah.
But what will be some what will be some feel good is to see Donald Trump go away.
Yeah.
World's a messed up place, but we gotta hang on, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ohio.
It. And hey, exactly, Mark. Yes. Little pockets, little moments of bravery and good. And you know what? If we can keep that kind of shit going, who knows? We'll maybe get into Ohio next week. Because we're about to go now.
Yeah.
We're kind of out of time.
We should probably
Yes, Denise.
thoughts and prayers for Maui.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They are really going through it with all those
They
fires.
are going through it, and unfortunately what will probably end up happening with that is rich real estate people will swoop in, and whoever survived will never get their house back, will never get their land back. They'll be shipped off somewhere, because that's kind of what happened in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I think I speak for the four of us, and thanks for reminding me on that, Denise. I think I speak for the four of us when I'm like, we're praying for you folks.
Absolutely.
Because it's not like we didn't get climate change warnings.
That part.
But it's all about who's listening, who we're voting for, and I'm the first one to come out and say it. We have screwed up. We fell asleep at the wheel. There were plenty of other signs that we need to get out in the streets and go to Washington and maybe throw a bottle or two or something. And we didn't do it. And now here we are. You know, I'm too old to be punching people in the face. I mean, as much as I would like to.
Well, I got a white chair if you need it.
Well, thank you. No, that may come in handy. That may come in handy. We are in an odd place, folks. We're in a very odd place. But I feel being a little more diligent. I feel like arguing, you know, like not arguing with those that aren't a part of that structure that's hurting you. You know, because it's like we've got divisions, you know, blacks, Asians, gays, Latinos, like everybody's got a little. We need to put all that squabble behind us and focus on the common enemy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm also not like down with, let's say, you know, the small minority of transgender people that are trying to disavow actual women or any of that craziness. I'm not, you know, but I feel like that stuff gets the focus to keep us mad at each other.
It's that distraction.
Yes.
It's that distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Most transgender people, you're not even gonna the worst argument you're gonna get in with them is if you go see a drag show and maybe they do I Believe I Can Fly in F sharp. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's it's like, wait, no, that doesn't sound right. Outside of that, ain't really shit to, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of ranting at the moment, but I'm also kind of making the point that we got to recognize who the common enemy is, folks.
Yeah.
And it is not each other.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Except for Clarence Thomas and
oh no, Clarence Thomas. Again, that's like I said in a previous show. If I could catapult him into the sun, I would. And that doesn't mean I want smoke from Secret Service or FBI. I'm not like asshole.
Right. Not
that
like
got
that.
himself shot earlier this week. I'm not that guy. No. Obviously, I can't catapult Clarence Thomas into the sun. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Right.
Because he's a horrible human being.
Yeah.
I just wish we had a hint that he was a horrible human being. Wait, we did.
Don't say.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
He didn't say.
Wait. I didn't get a harump from that guy.
Harumph.
There you go. Folks, we're out of here. Be fun and shenanigans. Hope you enjoyed the show. And you know what? Be good to each other, please. Thank you.